Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah, I think that was the remix, y'all. Woo! We are getting fired up, everybody. It's a beautiful life? Question mark. Hello, my name is Christy Olson. This is the AFTERBUZZ TV Total Divas After Show, entitled, It's a Beautiful Life. I don't know. They're questioning it. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. This is season 4, episode 8. I want to thank you all for joining us. If you are hitting us up on iTunes and SoundCloud, we really appreciate it. Give us 5 stars and leave us your comments. Let us know if you think this was a beautiful episode. I don't know. Maybe you're joining us on YouTube. We appreciate that too. Please hit that thumbs up button. That's kind of my thing that I'm really obsessed with. So hit that thumbs up, guys. I'm Christy Olson, and you can tweet with me at Christy Reports. I love to chat with you about divas and WWE and all the good stuff. You can get in on the conversation using hashtag ABTV Total Divas. We want to hear what you think too. And I'm not alone here because that wouldn't be any fun.
You're really good at what you do.
We were just watching in awe, right?
We're like, wow, she is really, really good.
I was kind of just thinking, oh, you just keep talking. Shut up and throw it to Daria and George.
What we were thinking. Gladly. What's going on, guys?
Hey. We got a new face up in here.
This isn't my normal show, nor my normal seat, but I'm happy to be here and excited to talk about some Diva WWE action.
Yeah. Tell them who you are.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm Daria. Daria Berenato.
You may remember her from.
I've never been anywhere. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I heard you used to be an MMA fighter. You still are, but doing stuff like that. And I'm George Hermoza, and the road to the 400 followers begins as I surpassed 300 Twitter followers. Therefore, hashtag road to 400 followers begins. The revolution will rise.
You're on a Twitter roll.
Yeah, and he has like me and you beat combined. He has more.
Wait, how many do you have?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. Maybe.
Like you,
but I've been at it for a while.
You divide your number by her number, and that's my number.
Oh, I don't do math, honey.
We'll do the math. We'll get the calculator out later.
I'm like a Bella twin that way, you guys. Speaking of, let's get the chitty chatter started on the Total Divas show. Tonight was a good one, right? What did you guys think of tonight's episode?
I liked it.
It was definitely eventful. I liked the singing battle that went on between Nikki and Brie. That is hilarious. That reminds me of my sister and I if we tried to sing. I mean, if you just don't have the vocal cords, don't do it, girl.
That was horrible. I couldn't. My ears are still healing from that.
I know.
OMG.
But I love to see the Bella twins in like what I call hot mess mode. You know, right? I mean, if they're not vomiting on each other or screwing up something in the studio, I mean, we just can't quite be entertained.
What's the fun? Yeah, they're totally the life of the entire show. I mean, if it wasn't for their bickering, I don't even know if I'd tune in. It's so great. It draws me in. It's like, good one. They had some good jabs at each other tonight. Yeah. Very entertaining.
Yeah, but actually, Nikki is going to get into what we think will be a juicy storyline with someone else. And there was a little setup at the very beginning of this episode where we saw Dolph Ziggler, Nikki's ex, mind you, come in and he offers to flit her off to Singapore for 5 days.
It's funny because they keep planting seeds like in different episodes. They had that one episode where Ziggler kind of comes by and you have Nikki Bella doing the Cole, you can't see me. I still can't fathom the fact that, like, okay, first off, Dolph used to date, Nikki Bella, and now John Cena does. And now I remember you made that reference, and I still talk about all the time, we're Team Eskimo Brothers when they were teaming together. But also, too, Dolph Ziggler.
Again, I wouldn't say that. That would be in terrible taste.
Dolph Ziggler used to date Amy Schumer. And then guess who has a sex scene with Amy Schumer in Trainwreck?
That is
I'm watching the movie, I'm like, oh my God, like, are they just going to do everything? Like, is John going to pretty much be on top of anyone else that Dolph Ziggler has been on top of,
George, I hate to tell you this, I think you've been hanging out with Christy Olson tonight. Your mind has gone there in the entertainment realm, and I love it. And we will definitely, we didn't see it come to fruition this time, but we are ready for that seed to sprout.
I know I
yes?
am.
Yeah, and listen, Dolph Ziggler, I don't know if I'd be messing with John Cena's woman if I were you.
Right.
John Cena seems like the type of dude that's like, you hit on my girl, that's a compliment to me. He seems pretty secure in his manlyhood. But if you cross that line, I don't know that he'll be so calm.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that.
I'm kind of curious.
Maybe that's where it'll go.
When everything happened, was that before or after they teamed together? Because let's say if that happened like a day before they teamed together in Japan, I'd be like, awkward.
I don't know that.
I need to go back and watch that.
Going,
I need to go back and watch that match and look at any kind of hidden meanings that from that match.
Like nuances.
Yeah.
Like some extra hard chops.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were teaming them with each other.
Right.
So maybe that tag was a little bit harder than the other one. Yep. I don't know. I'm just kind of being. This is my Christy Olson.
Like that.
This is my Christy Olson coming in. Yeah. That didn't hurt, by the way. That didn't hurt.
Oh, well, I'll make the next one hurt.
I love it. Well,
anyway.
A little bit different kind of drama for Diva Natty. Now, I love when Mark Carrano comes in because that's when we know we're going to get real WWE stuff. He is not a character on the show. He is actual Mark Carrano who does his job at WWE. He's the head of talent relations or something, right? And this is sort of, it became mirroring the situation. Last season, we saw Nikki and Bree's contracts come up. So we know this is something important that they deal with. And Carrano says he's got to talk to Natty. And it doesn't really sound like it's a good conversation, but Natty doesn't take it as badly as I think I would have. It was almost like maybe she sort of knew it was coming or something, right? What did you guys think of her reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I think she definitely was upset, obviously. She took it as like an ageist thing, like, oh, I'm getting old, but Nikki's only 7 months younger than me, and she kind of started to put the pieces together like, wait a second, I'm not that old in this industry. What are you guys trying to do with me? But I think she did take it better than I may have because, it is like a timeline thing and you're like, hey, you start comparing yourself to the other divas. But on the other hand, she still has a future with this company. We've seen them, keep people around that they really like. They definitely really like Natty. She can do so many things. She can work with the NXT girl. She can be at the Performance Center more. And there's really a role for her no matter what. So I wouldn't be too concerned if I were her. But I can understand getting a little upset because of the age comment. I mean, we're women. We get like that.
Yeah.
I think we've seen it in all kind of careers where you don't want someone else to tell you when your time is up. You feel like you're maybe entering your prime, and we've seen Natty kind of change her look in the last 6 months. She kind of went from that pink-ish and then just kind of a little more dominatrix leather. So you can tell that she's really trying to hit her stride. So for somebody to say, oh, well, I don't really see it, or, I can see why she was upset. I mean, maybe once I get to that point, maybe I might think of it as a compliment because they see her as a leader kind of role. We want to see her as a mentor. I don't know. Just like I said, I kind of see where she's coming from, but at the same time, I see where you guys are coming from too.
Yeah.
Well, and the point to be made as well, like you said, Nikki and Brie are only 7 months older than her. They just signed for another 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. This all makes me a little bit worried for
but
Natty.
Everyone has a place, you know. And I think that Natty even said it. She's like, I've always felt like the odd one out, in the Divas division. And I think Natty's fantastic. I think she comes from an amazing, impressive family, and I think she has great wrestling skills and all that. But maybe there's a appropriate place for her where she's going to love it even more and really find that spot in her life right now.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, if you kind of look back in the last month and a half, we haven't really seen her on Raw or SmackDown. She's kind of become a backdrop in this Divas revolution. So I don't know. You kind of I know Divas was filmed a few months ago, so you kind of haven't seen really any much progress either. It's still been a few months and still no Natty. Although she'd be perfect in this revolution. I would love to see her against Sasha Banks, against Charlotte. I mean, we've seen them on Raw before in like a 5-minute match. I'd love to see them in a 15-minute match.
Right. Yeah.
We've seen them on NXT, and that match was phenomenal. So.
Just to get that veteran versus newcomer. I mean, Sasha Banks is no newcomer. We all know that, but newcomer to the main roster, to get that kind of veteran newcomer vibe and do a nice little storyline there. I could see it working, but I think we'll see a lot of Natty regardless in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, next week is the mid-season finale of this season of Total Divas, so there will be another half of the season, and there's a time lapse there. So maybe that will provide some fast forwarding in time, and we will get some of this Divas Revolution stuff. on the show. I think that is their intention. They were shooting last weekend at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think also as well, they still have yet to cover the Tyson Kidd injury. So honestly, from a storyline standpoint, there's not really much to see from Natty because Tyson is out, and obviously they were an on-screen and obviously off-screen couple.
Yeah, they were working together on WWE at the time.
Again, maybe they're going to wait for that storyline to progress on Total Divas for her to return to Raw or SmackDown. Who knows, you know?
Yes, well, one diva who's not lacking in opportunities with the WWE is Paige. She is shooting Santa's Little Helper, so cute, with The Miz.
Adorable.
Right? This is her first starring role. And Kevin comes to visit. So sweet, comes to visit her on set.
He is like, I really like them. I think they are like an alternative power couple. You know what I mean? Like
I love that.
They both have like their funky little vibe. You know, he's the lead in A Day to Remember, which I know that band. You know what I mean? I totally knew that band. And Paige is this superstar diva. I mean, they are a really cool couple, and I think they have a nice yin and yang with each other. So I thought it was adorable. He came and saw her. He brought her flowers. She ran off of set. We were laughing about this. She ran off of set to say hi to him. Oh, you were there?
Yeah.
She went on MIA.
I saw the first 15 minutes before I saw you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
That's how it goes. How's your water?
It's good. Why?
Okay, just no.
Don't drink out of each other's cups. The fans don't like that.
Didn't you guys do that last time I was on here? You guys had a little swapping. You guys don't like that, guys? No? Let me hear you.
I didn't see what the big deal was, but whatever. I like the fact that they mentioned that because I remember it kind of crisscrossed with the whole Naomi turning heel. That's why Paige was out for a few weeks. And I like the fact that they've actually acknowledged that Paige was out filming a movie now.
You're bringing it full circle for us,
right.
George.
That's right. That's what I do.
Good job. Good job.
Not just a square, but I use a whole circle.
I love it. Well, this is where we get to the all juicy, entertaining storyline of the divas and they're singing their songs. And for some reason, Brie Bella's Brie Mode It's a Beautiful Life song is doing very well on iTunes.
Do you like that song?
I do not care for that little ditty. I don't.
I just like the beginning, the Brie Mode.
Let's all do it. Oh, right, no, lip gloss. We'll just let you do it.
Yeah, just do.
Do it again, George.
That's yours. I mean, if anybody wants to play it right now.
No auto-tune necessary.
Brie Mode.
I love it.
Very impressive.
Well, they want to do a remix because they can sell that too, and they want Brie to sing on it because Naomi recently, Trinity, just did the same thing and actually sold Hot as well.
Is that her singing?
Yes, and it's a good song.
That's her.
Yeah.
But
I don't know that.
she's got some tunes. She's got a little bit of vocal there.
We've seen Cameron do that too with the whole Chingle Chingle Girl Bye.
She's got a second single now.
Really?
Cameron does. Yeah.
Man.
Well, Trinity's father, I forget exactly who, but he was some sort of figure in the music scene in like the 70s.
Well,
I think he's in
one
some group
episode
or
in the
something,
first
right?
season where Trinity and JoJo go to the studio.
Yeah.
And JoJo's kind of trying to do a remix of the Funkadactyls theme.
Yeah, because her dad was in like the Commodores or somebody like that. Not that, but somebody like that back in the day. So it's worked well for her, and they're wondering if maybe the Bella twins can do the same. What did you guys think of Brie's in-studio performance?
It literally reminded me of myself. Like, we think we could do everything, you know, we're successful in other areas in life, but vocally, Brie Bella, no, that's all.
It's kind of tough to watch because I know I have a phenomenal voice, a phenomenal singing voice.
Can we hear it?
Not right now. Not right now. Maybe later. Maybe after, a little more drinks. But, yeah, it was just so hard to hear. I mean, Nikki was no better. But, yeah, they were both pretty bad.
And you could see the worry in her face when she was singing. She was like... You guys on iTunes, sorry about that. But yeah, it was painful to watch all around.
Yeah, and it wasn't even about like how she was sounding, but she couldn't keep up with the rhythm of the song or keep the beat. Or I mean, it was a hot mess sort of from every angle.
It was awesome.
That being said, I would be as equal of a hot mess in the studio, so we can't say too much. But we had a little cameo at this point too. Our Truth drops by, and John Cena comes in for a second, and Nikki decides that now since Brie had her turn in the studio, Nikki thinks that maybe she can be a Billboard Hot 100 star. And we learn that she's going to try to do her song too. Which should be easier because Nikki's song is already a song. Like, it's not a remix, it's the song that they've been walking out to and hearing for years and years. So let's just say at that point in the episode, the expectations were high for Nikki. At that point, we see the Bella twins have a match now. I love this that they're showing more of the matches on, because there's a mixture, I think, of people who watch the show. They're wrestling fans and they're not, and so it's great to see that, right?
Yeah, I think it definitely brings in two different demographics. It not only brings in us reality buffs that love to watch any reality show on television, but it also brings in those casual WWE fans that are looking for matches, looking to see, what goes on behind the scenes before they're getting ready, what goes on before Raw or SmackDown. That to me is really interesting, because it's like, what's backstage like? You want to know as a wrestling fan as well. So I think that's an interesting dynamic that this show has.
I think the wrestling fan in me likes that backstage environment, but I think the non-wrestling fan who watches Total Divas are kind of intrigued by the in-ring stuff, because this is what they do for a living. Granted, they're more than just professional wrestlers. Obviously, there's sports entertainers. So obviously, there's so much more than what happens in the ring. But I think I do want to talk to somebody who maybe just watches Total Divas to say, hey, are you intrigued, or does that intrigue you? Not to be a wrestling fan, but hey, just to see them actually doing their job of, wrestling.
Yeah, my mom's been watching it for years, and she knows nothing about pro wrestling.
Oh, for
she
Divas?
just loves, for real, and she just loves the drama aspect. She thinks it's a great reality show, and she thinks it's so cool seeing these, strong women be athletic and stuff. So she gets tied into all those aspects, but it's definitely different demographics that this show hits. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. Well, we did see their little ring entrance at the very beginning of the match, and so this seems like the perfect time to let you all know I tried said ring entrance last week when the Tough Enough AfterBuzz panel went to Championship Wrestling Hollywood. Yes.
The Wrestle Center.
Yeah, at the Wrestle Center School, and we... I don't want to say learned how to wrestle, because that would be an exaggeration. That would be setting the expectations too high.
You definitely acted like you did.
We tried some moves in the ring, and you guys are going to see it. Just search AfterBuzz Tough Enough Wrestling, and you'll see it. It's a very, very funny video, and I won't be able to say anything about anyone else's wrestling skills after you all see that.
Wait a second.
So check that out.
Did you guys actually get in the ring?
We did.
What did you all do?
We'll tune in and find out.
Oh my gosh.
It got crazy.
Are you guys going to show it on the WWE Tough Enough After Show?
Yes, we are. And it's a separate video that our viewers can search for as well.
It is on the YouTube as well.
Yes.
If you want to watch the Tough Enough.
Oh, I have to watch this.
Good thing. So back to the show. Paige and her boyfriend go out for a little drink because he's come to visit her. And this is a very interesting scene to me, because we obviously see a chopped up version of it. And I was kind of thinking, I was like, well, what did the girl do that was really that offensive? I was like, Paige just being cranky again, and Paige just being mean. But it seems that the girl did ask him to go for a shot, and you would think if anyone would be well-versed in dealing with fans and just knowing that you have to be patient and be nice, it would be Paige. So I was surprised by her behavior here, but it seems that maybe she was justified. What do you guys think?
I think she was overreacting. I mean, it's not like he went to have the shot with her. I mean, I'm sure they didn't show whether they said yes or no, but from based on how loyal he is and how great of a guy he is, he probably didn't go for that shot. He probably just said, no, thanks,
Yeah, I was confused by her reaction. I wonder maybe if, like you said, they chopped it up and maybe he said something that we didn't see. We all know how reality TV works. So I can't say, but based off of what we saw, I was like, Paige, honey, relax.
Chill. You're Paige.
You're Paige. You're hot. You're successful. He doesn't want this girl coming up to him. Right. But it was very rude of the girl to say, excuse me, it didn't work the first time. Can you take a picture? And I loved Paige's response. Take a selfie, honey.
Yeah, that was justifiable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's where I started to understand.
If you're going to interrupt someone's dinner to take a fan photo, okay, maybe say, excuse me, real quick, take a picture. Do not ask to take it again. That is just crossing the line, crossing the boundaries. There's a time and a place. That was the wrong one.
I agree. I don't even usually ask for one picture when it is the time and the place.
Yeah.
You just don't want to be that girl.
I'm not that girl. Yeah, I hate
and so we have no pictures of us with celebrities plastered all over our social media like everybody else does.
So we're just not cool.
Right.
Is what we're saying.
That's okay. Well, this is a time where I wanted to bring up a question to all of you, because Nikki Bella posed this question in a conversation with Brie, and so I'm wondering who you all think is the better twin. This is an ongoing argument between the two throughout the seasons. Well, Nikki kind of brings up, she's like, I was better at soccer. We know Nikki was going to go play professional soccer before they signed to WWE. I kind of think that Nikki is the little bit more likable one, They did straight up say last week, Brie is the ornery one. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go, I feel like Nikki was the homecoming queen, and Brie was like the one who was mad that she wasn't. I don't know. Nikki might be the better twin, guys, is what I'm getting at.
I don't know. I really like them both. Having been around Daniel Bryan a little while, though, he really rubbed off on me, and I think I'm a Brie fan.
Yeah. She liked you too.
Yeah. They were definitely really receptive of me, but I think that they're totally opposites. We all know that. Mm-hmm. You know, Nikki's a little more high maintenance. Brie's a little bit more down to earth. I don't know. I love them both. I think they're both beautiful, but I think Brie might win the contest if you put it out there to the viewers.
Yeah.
It's without sounding too, over the top. I guess you can interpret it however you want it. Brie's somebody you can bring home to mom. Nikki's somebody you can bring home to dad. Brie's somebody you can be like, hey, look at my girlfriend. And Nikki's like, hey, Dad, you see what I got? You know what I mean?
That was such a funny interpretation, George. I could see where you're coming from there. Yeah, I mean, they're both beautiful women, but that differential right there was pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's why we keep you around. Male perspective.
Is that it, really?
That's pretty much the only reason.
Oh, no, good dresser.
Well,
you are
tonight.
a good dresser tonight.
We'll give you that tonight.
For
our podcast listener, George is rocking his vest and his tie. Sort of looks like he could throw a blazer on and be a groomsman, but I like it. Looks good.
As long as you guys like it.
He matches with us, and we look
do.
good. Yep. Yeah, so give us some more male perspective, because at this point, Rosa's having a little chat, and we learned that she herself was in a new relationship. And I went, but wait a minute, Rosa, this can't be that long ago, and you're telling us you're in a new relationship, and now you're like 4 months pregnant with this guy. So, she maybe isn't one that should be lecturing anybody about moving too quickly.
We've heard stories about her in the past about getting a little psycho on some people, behind the scenes. So, with that alone, I wouldn't suggest maybe giving advice. Because obviously she kind of gave some bad advice on this one too.
Yeah, she gave Paige some advice.
So you weren't shocked to hear that Rosa has tracked her boyfriend and recorded him in the car and that whole business?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I gotta say that didn't surprise me.
No.
Yeah. The last, what was it, a couple episodes ago when Rosa was on a date with Mr. What's his name? He was an athlete.
Oh, like last season.
Yeah. And her and Summer Rae got into it over that guy. He was a baseball player.
Oh, was that last season? I'm so behind.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, and you saw her there, and she was like laying out her do's and don'ts. Like, well, if you're gonna be this, then I don't want to be. And he was like, chill, like give me a chance.
Yeah, she was like talking about kids and stuff.
Yeah,
on
and
the
she
first
was
date.
like, well, if you don't want this, if you don't want this, if you're not like this, if you're not like this. So Rosa kind of gave me the impression of a little high maintenance in relationships.
Yeah,
coming right off the bat. So that was kind of like a red flag. Paige, don't take her advice. But,
No. And Paige really seems like the cool chick who wouldn't worry about this stuff. So that was kind of surprising to me as well.
Right.
And then to take Rosa Mendez's advice. I mean, this just had like future disaster written all over it, right?
I think at its core, I think it just shows how much Paige likes this guy. Because she wants to from her perspective, I see where she's coming from, where she wants to test him because she does want to know that he's being good to her. What better way to test that? And obviously,
Yeah, I think that doing tests like that in a relationship obviously puts a lot of stress on the relationship, though, because then it's like you don't trust people.
Yeah, it's like it's not a game.
But to be fair, Paige came out of a really bad relationship prior to this one, where she, was mistreated in ways. So I could see her hesitation going into a new relationship. She's scared, just like we all are inside. And I think it kind of humanized Paige in a way and kind of made her look very normal in a sense, in a good way. It made her relatable. Like, wow, she has a heart too, and she worries about these things too. We all do it, girls and guys. And I think it kind of just showed how much she really cares about him. She wants this to work.
Yeah. Well, and it's a very far cry from the not a normal relationship, but from the kind of relationship people usually have, because they're both on the road so much and they are both public figures.
Very
and
true.
There are a lot of extra factors there that a lot of us don't have to deal with in our relationship.
Absolutely. The traveling, the lack of seeing each other.
Yeah.
It definitely takes a strong bond to be able to keep that up. I mean, we see celebrities getting divorced and separated all the time. And I would imagine that it's because of that trust, being so far away.
That just makes me think of, I thought of the other day how shocked I would be if Brie and Brian ever got divorced. Would you just,
really
out of all the celebrity couples that I can
Absolutely.
think of, they're kind of the last ones that I would ever expect.
I think they do a great job of keeping stuff very real. They seem like one of those couples that it's like, F the bullshit. Like, let's just talk. Let's be real. Let's not let the fame glamour us. I had a chance to talk to Daniel Bryan when he was on Tough Enough behind the scenes, and he was telling us, he's like, I think what makes me successful in the WWE is because before I was in the WWE, I was okay with who I was. Like, you know what I mean? He wasn't one of those people that's like, I need the fame, I need the riches, I need all this wealth, I need a, drop dead gorgeous girlfriend. Like, he was okay with who he was.
He does drop dead gorgeous wife.
He has a drop dead gorgeous wife. But he wasn't earning for that much. So when he got all of the great stuff that he has today, he kept it real,
Yeah.
Very down to earth. And I like that about them.
Maybe that's my problem. I need the stuff. I'm the Nikki Bella of the group. Speaking of,
A cool thing to me.
right? So she goes and visits Jim Johnston, who is a really huge deal in the music industry. And if you have downloaded any of the Divas songs on iTunes, you'll see his name there. He's creating all these songs.
Almost any WWE theme song in the last 25 years. I mean, to me, he's a god. Because to me, I always emphasize on that's what makes the WWE so high, even the tiny things. And I think that's why a lot of the other companies, wrestling companies, don't do as well, because it is about the whole package, including the theme song. And that's why a lot of these guys have theme songs that fit them, because that's that's how good this guy is.
Absolutely.
He tries to pick you apart, micromanage you in every way to see what's the best theme song for you.
That resignation, that comfort when we hear these songs, like when I hear a siren, I know Cesaro's coming out.
Yeah.
When I hear John Cena's theme song, I'm like, oh, John Cena's coming out. Like, these things resonate in the casual fans and hardcore fans' mind. So when you flip on the channel and you hear that, you're like, oh, it's about to happen, and it's good. It's familiarity.
Not to go on about theme songs, but I mean, the most important part of the theme song, I think, is like the first 2 seconds.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to, if you're a wrestling fan, just maybe educating the Total Divas fan, if you're a wrestling fan, you want to hear someone's music, but when you hear someone's music, you want to know who that person is. You're like, wait, so who's coming out now? You don't want to wait till the camera's on them for you to know, oh, that's them. So look at that, John Cena, even Divas, we tie back to Divas, as soon as you hear, you can look, but you can't touch, or the I just wanted to know the reason to do that, by the way. But everybody, the Natalya with the little guitar riff in the beginning, everybody has it. Bailey, who I love, when it breaks it down. This guy's a genius, I think. So
absolutely,
to be in the studio with this guy, I think, is a big deal.
Yeah, major. Well, I want to ask you, since George, I don't know if our Total Divas fans know this, but George is essentially the encyclopedia of WWE.
Literally.
So, which other stars have recorded their own theme songs, over the years? We know they're kind of the recent ones, but was this going on back in the day?
Shawn Michaels.
I want to say the Honky Tonk Man back in the 80s.
Thank you, James. Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels. Actually, going back to Divas, originally it was Sensational Sherry, who is one of my favorite divas of all time. Originally sang Shawn Michaels' song, and then Shawn sang his own. But yeah, I'd say maybe 5 to 10%. But initially it's sometimes kind of done as a joke. When you think about it, when you look back at it, you're like, wait, Shawn Michaels is singing his own theme song, talking about how cute and how sexy he is. I'm just a sexy boy.
Auto-tune.
Yeah, sexy boy. So it's not uncommon, but not something that the majority of the roster has either.
Jimmy Hart wrote a lot of wrestlers' theme songs, as well as Hulk Hogan's theme song.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Hey.
So that was
just another talent
80s.
these people have to have.
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
That's right. Well, guys, we bring these shows to you for free. You're welcome. And we do that thanks to our sponsors. And I want to tell you about a really cool thing that DraftKings has going on right now. Last season at DraftKings.com, they crowned more millionaires than any other one-week fantasy sports site anywhere. This season, the prizes, they're even bigger. You can start the season by winning $2 million in 1 week, you guys. You can become a double millionaire in 1 week. It's the biggest fantasy football contest ever. I know, right? $10 million in prizes are up for grabs, including that $2 million for first place, and there is also a $1 million, just a measly $1 million for the second place winner. There are no commitments, and it's just these 1 week plays, so it's really cool. You've never experienced fantasy football like this. It's not the usual fantasy football. It is DraftKings. welcome to the big time, because we are giving you a very special little extra here. Hurry over to DraftKings.com right now. If you use promo code BUZZ, you can play for a free shot at the $2 million top prize in Week 1 Millionaire Maker. So again, go to DraftKings.com and use the code BUZZ for a free entry. So for no money, you can win $2 million. This is crazy, you guys. I'm going to go as soon as we're done here. Free entry, and that's DraftKings.com, people. Again, you're welcome.
Well, thank you, because I want to be $2 million richer.
I know, right?
Especially since you lost out on $250,000. But it's like, hey, suck it tough enough. I just won $2 million.
There we go.
There we go.
Consolation prize.
There's the cherry on top of the cake.
So, well, you know what? Natty's not having the best day either. Natty, she's going to the bar with her ladies, and it seems like she's maybe already had a couple drinks, right? Nobody addresses that.
It's like she went to a school of ebonics, like, oh, look what I learned, y'all. I was with my boo, my bae, TJ, you know, I'm like, oh my God.
Natty
so
was
bad.
trying out some cool new lingo
Yes.
to help with her fresh, young, quote, Miley Cyrus look that she rocked to the bar. You go, Natty. Let me give you some. Dude, dope, badass. What do these kids say nowadays?
Orangutan.
Don't take advice from George if you want to be cool and young.
I'm a great advice giver, thank you very much.
That's not a word. Anyway, but yeah, no, you go, Natty, for trying to get out there, put yourself out there, and act as young and beautiful as she is. She had that six-pack going.
Yeah, she looked good.
Natty looks good.
Yeah.
Natty looks good.
Yeah, but it definitely wasn't what we're used to seeing her in. It was a bit of a shock.
How about Tamina's face when Natty walked in? Tamina's like, girl.
And let me tell you something. If Natty's worried about age, I wonder what Tamina's thinking of, because Tamina's like 5 years older than Natty, and she's like, girl, what the hell are you talking about? You looking good, and I'm sitting here being 37.
Is it possible that there's the term age that we all use, but then there's age in the WWE in the sense of not necessarily that you're the oldest, but you're old in the company. You know what I mean?
It's a little bit worse when you are a diva. Because let's admit it. I mean, I'm going to get so hated for this. Men age a lot better than women.
It's because when they shave, they exfoliate.
Exactly. So you admit it.
True story.
So you admit it, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, I didn't really know that.
Keep shaving, keep shaving, keep shaving.
But in terms of wrestling, we don't really see 40-year-old female wrestlers.
No, you're absolutely right.
that.
You have
You're
your
absolutely
very,
right.
very, very extreme rarity in Mae Young or Moolah, obviously. But yeah, it's just the way it is. I don't think I've seen a single 40-year-old wrestler in a while.
No, but like I said, there's so many positions for Natty.
Yeah.
And I just think that, I liked her trying to tune it down a little bit, get a little young, have a little fun.
Right?
But I like the way you are, Natty. Stay the same. Don't change.
We don't need you to change.
No.
We really don't. And I think watching this scene play out, I think we could have guessed that it would end in her sort of lamenting all this and the tears, and so I was not surprised by that. I was, however, shocked by some random drunk guy who thinks it's a good idea to throw down with Tamina Snuka.
Who was half Tamina Snuka's size, by the way.
Yeah.
Can I just say no?
Yes.
I would not have controlled myself. I would have went ham on his ass.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, nobody wants to lose a job from beating up a moron. But come on, Tamina was like ready to throw down.
Oh, yeah.
Knuckles cracked, pushing and shoving, but the ladies held her back, thank God.
I love seeing her on here. We got a little tidbit with her last week too, because again, she's one of the ones that is just real. Like whether there's a camera there or not, and maybe it's because she isn't part of the cast, so she doesn't feel she has to worry about it. But she's being Tamina Snuka, like whoever that is,
right.
No matter who's there or what camera's on her. So I just get those real moments from her.
She's definitely one of a kind, and I really like her. I think that she, like you said, she's raw. She's real. She is who she is. She's a bad girl, and she owns it. And when she gets in that ring, that same kind of character comes across to us when we're like, oh, Tamina's out.
Right?
And she just, that look in her eyes, you're like, you don't want to mess with her.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen her wrestle, it's just like everything she does just looks like it hurts more than what everybody else does.
And it's all in the face. Like if you look at in her face when she wrestles, her expressions are amazing. Yeah.
Well, we also got our classic Trinity during this scene as well. Comes in, voice of reason, tells Natty, don't be upset, you have nothing to be upset over. I mean,
Trinity.
isn't she just the best?
She really is.
Every
The voice
week,
of
I'm just
reason.
like, we missed her so much last season. And it was almost as if they were like, oh, you're not causing drama, so what's your place? This season, we're seeing it. That's your place.
She's kind of like the mom, right?
Yeah.
She's kind of like the peacekeeper, the voice of reason, like you said. I don't think she really drinks, right? Isn't that her deal? Isn't she like she doesn't really drink. She's mature, and I think that she's that voice of reason. And I think every show needs that, because sometimes you just have a bunch of crazy girls running around, and you're like, whoa, who's gonna calm this?
Something
Maybe
else?
too much.
No,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something else when you caught yourself.
no.
It did sound like the beginning of the C word there for a second.
So you heard it too, right? You heard it too.
No, it definitely
She's not dropping C-bombs, y'all.
Crazy. Crazy.
No, my mother hates that word. I would never say it.
I thought I was the only one.
No.
Well, someone who was ready to maybe let some expletives fly because she was... Oh, no, I almost said a bad word because she was freaking out when Nikki and Brie went to hang out with the Anaheim Ducks.
Wait, hold on, real quick. I think it's I'm to blame because I started talking about theme songs. I don't think we started talking about just how Nikki was in the studio. I think we forgot to talk about that.
Oh.
Actually, when she was actually singing, we started talking
That's
about Jim
true.
Johnson, and I think we don't talk
Right.
about, man, was she bad. I mean, it was funny because I don't know if she even caught that, or maybe she wasn't smart enough. I'm sure she is, but when she was asking Jim Johnson, by the way, with Renee Young, I love
Right.
her, Renee Young, any cameo, I know, hey, relax. I know you don't like
Say
Renee
a
Young.
word.
You didn't have to. I heard it with your eyes. But she asked Jim Johnson, so who's the worst you've seen? Well, I was like, well, nobody specifically, but you know it's bad when I gotta, line by line or have you repeat after me or say it with me. And I was like, okay, that's funny. And then, hold on, a minute later, guess what happens?
They're going line by
You
line.
can look, but you can't. Something in your eyes.
Beating it line by line to Nikki. But the best part is, and this is what I love about Nikki, she did not take that no for an answer. She
Nope.
acted like she was Beyonce. And she rocked that microphone with all that charisma. The only thing that was missing was the voice.
Yes. Yeah, it was like, it seemed like almost a minor detail.
It was a
She was shaking it, like she was giving it to you. You almost didn't even need the audio because
Right.
she was just giving you the visual.
If you just covered your ears, it would have been a great performance.
Right?
Right?
Yes.
You would have never known.
Yes, well,
She's
and
ready to
again-
win that Emmy.
God. That was great too. Well, this should have been easy. Again, it's a song that already exists that she's heard a million times.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
You should be able to just I have the song on my phone.
How
It
did-
is also my ringtone. I could sing it back to you, and I can't. Girl.
I couldn't.
I mean, I'm just putting
Girl.
that she was reading off the page. Actually, I was going to segue to Paige because I always see Paige singing her song, like kind of mouthing it as she walks to the ring sometimes.
Yeah.
But how does Nikki, who's probably heard that song 1,000 times, not even know that she's literally reading off the page? Like,
Yeah.
do you not know the words of the song?
Because you guys out there, if you haven't heard the full song, it includes such lyrical gems as "You can see the garden, but you can't come in the house, baby," and other such. I'm trying to think of some other ones. There are some good lines
Keep
in
going,
there.
keep
So the
going.
fact that she didn't know such lyrical gems as that is just really disappointing.
Yes, they're very memorable.
Right?
Yeah,
Memorable
they
lines.
stuck in my brain.
But I assume.
I
Are you? Why
no,
are you?
'cause
George is calling me
I
right
thought
now.
I was going to hear your ringtone.
Oh no, I've got it on
But I was
silent.
like, oh, wait. I have it on silent.
I would blow up the studio with the Bella Twins theme right in the middle of the Total Divas after
That
show.
is
Come on.
hilarious.
Oh well,
I
we
was
assume
testing
she
you. I was seeing
does
if you were
know.
just.
If I forgot, I usually do.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Well, she would not have forgotten the words to the national anthem, but she didn't have to sing it. Did we believe that for even a second? I mean, we knew she was being set up by Brie,
They're doing
right?
that a lot this season, as far as like doing something, and 5 minutes before, this is what happened. They're doing that a lot. They're Tarantino and Total Divas a lot.
Yeah, and you know what? That's usually a sign of we don't have much else, or like the beginning of the end kind of type stuff. But the show is still really great, so don't be doing that.
Yeah,
people,
just
we don't need
do
that. Yeah.
No, it was hilarious that Brie Bella was in this hockey arena, went and found somebody in charge, and said, "Hey, I want to play a prank on my sister. Can you go up to her and ask her if she can sing the national anthem tonight and see what she says?" She says yes. Now, let me just ask you, if you can't sing, like you're horrible, and someone asks you, do you say yes?
No. No. And there's a plethora of excuses that you could come up with also. Yeah.
Kudos to Nikki Bella for the confidence.
Yeah, that's
Someone's got to have it. There you go.
That's true. And you know what? She gets a lot of flack in the wrestling world and the reality world. And that's kind of the point that I always make about her, is that she is an inspirational character. And even when they had that episode where they sort of highlighted how unintelligent they are, they work what they've got. And they do have a lot.
I think they are much more intelligent than we see.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at these girls, you don't get to the top by doing nothing. I mean, we all work hard to get somewhere, right?
How many people are just saying to themselves, well, John Cena?
Right.
Ooh, speaking of, we have a juicy news tidbit that will relate to that and start a conversation. We'll get to that in a moment.
No. I mean, we'll get to that in a moment. I guess I don't want to say it, but I'm saying, I'm sure a lot of people are probably, whether it's true or not, probably, make Nikki's success is maybe due to John Cena. I don't know.
The same argument could be made for Michelle McCool and The Undertaker.
Oh.
Well, Michelle McCool was flawless.
I think that the Bella twins bring it, and I think that they send. I
agree with that. I think they do.
I think they bring it, and they send a good message. I mean, they really are girls that they work hard to brand themselves, and they've really created a brand for themselves. And of course, they have people working for them, but they do some of the work. I believe that. I really do.
Yeah.
And don't forget, guys. These girls are wrestling. It's not easy in there. You guys learned this week. Is it easy in there?
Nay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if people would guess this, but it hurts a little bit too.
I will say this though, I know that there's this whole Divas revolution, but not the official. Obviously, officially, it started about a month and a half ago. But I think a big part of it started when the Bellas kind of came back, because when they came back from their hiatus, they kind of came back, and really
strong.
You can tell they've improved their wrestling skills.
Absolutely.
So I think that is when you started to realize, these girls are really starting to care about their wrestling.
I think the ones that really couldn't wrestle or weren't fitting in this Divas Revolution have been weeded out in the past couple years and stuff. And I think that the strong stands, and I think that we have a killer division.
And it's made some of them step up their game. Which we've seen with Eva Marie, which has been fun to watch
and
too.
Kudos to Eva. I ran into her today, and she is working her butt off. Yeah. She is really training day in and day out with Brian Kendrick, and I can tell you he's an amazing coach. So kudos to her for stepping it up.
Yeah, we had him call in last week. You guys, if you missed last week's episode, make sure you check it out because he gave her major props for her work ethic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Definitely a high praise coming from someone like Brian.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So back to the show. This is the point at which we're going to see Paige and Rosa's little scheme play out. And what I thought was really funny here was that Paige is like, oh, I'm gonna go up to this really hot chick and I'm gonna offer her $50 to do this. And I thought, you should probably just tell her she's gonna be on reality TV, and I think she'll be convinced, or maybe, hey, I'm a celebrity and I'm asking you to do something. I don't think it would have taken the 50 G's. But she gets this girl to go over and, I don't know, whatever she did, hit on him or
flirt with him.
Yeah, flirt with him, and he apparently was having no part of it. Oh, in front of his girlfriend's friend? Surprise, surprise.
She stepped out.
Right?
Because she said, Paige was like, I'm going to text Rosa so she can step away for a second.
Oh, that's right. So she wasn't there.
But
that's
it's
right.
the best place to test your boyfriend when you're in the same vicinity and your friend's there. Like, he knows eyes are on him. Not saying that he would ever do anything disrespectful or flirtatious, but that's not the place to test him. You got to test him when he's on his own, when he's out with the boys, and then you send the stray cat over. But hey, kudos for trying.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so we all agree this wasn't the best plan from the start.
No.
But we also didn't expect him to go for it. I think this guy seems like a far cry from the last one. And when she did come over and sort of admit to him and explain, I could just think of last season when she went to meet that boyfriend's parents. And what came out that he had been married, and they had a falling out. That ex-boyfriend called her the B word. He stormed away. I mean, it said some other really terrible things to her. The difference in the current Kevin's reaction was very refreshing and made me very happy for Paige.
He was so calm. Seriously, Kevin, you handled yourself very well.
Yeah.
I think I'm a phenomenal catch because I've never been a big yeller. You know what I mean? I've never been big. Like, I don't like to raise my voice.
I can see that. You seem like a very
I like to, like I said, I totally, like I said, I respect where Kevin was, because there's no reason to yell, there's no reason to overreact. Maybe you just need a minute, because I'd be upset too, because it does feel like a game. I'm not here to play games. Like, he literally flew up to see her.
Yeah.
To see her in Vancouver, Canada.
Absolutely.
He didn't have to do that. He wanted to. He really, really likes her, and and she's just playing this game. Like, how was she how can I say this? How was she expecting for him to react?
I was expecting a little more heat, to be honest. I mean, I'm an Italian, and we have hot tempers, and I could see another reaction coming. I think he handled himself amazing, and she was coming from a good place with the gesture, so I don't think that it should have been a huge fight. So I'm glad that they got over it really quickly and didn't make it this long, drug-on thing that just.
And I'm like him too, where like, I just want to know why you did that. Like, just tell me why. Just talk it out.
You want to know the psychology behind it?
As soon as you lose communication, that's where everything breaks down. So.
But I think that's where she's got to be careful with this. Because I think it was the reality show and the cameras, and that whole thing with the ex-boyfriend was for the cameras to go meet the parents, and then it was stress, and then something came out about him that he didn't want known. And even tonight, Kevin was like, I'm trying to walk away, like away from the cameras. Like, this whole thing wouldn't have happened if they weren't setting up this Total Diva storyline. So I think she better be careful about bringing, if she really cares about Kevin, which she clearly does, about bringing that relationship onto the show.
I can really relate to that. There's a really fine line between pleasing production and making, you want to keep your reputation. You want to still be who you are.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line to walk, and I think that Paige is pretty used to walking it, and I think she'll make the right decisions in the future. But this was one of those situations where it was like, oh, but it's a good story. Should I do it? Oh, Rosa said I should do it. I'll do it. And she's young too. I think, she's 22 years old?
22, 23.
Yeah. So mistakes in the past.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, just one last little scene blurby there at the end, which I really liked. Again, we were just talking about how Nikki is inspirational, and she gave Natty this talking to that any woman could take on any day of any age, I think, and hear and need to hear. And it was a really great moment between the two of them. And I think what she said really did make Natty feel better. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would want to hear, and like, she's that voice of wisdom. She says it how it is, and she told Natty the truth. Like we said, she has a future in this business and in this industry and in this company. Nothing to be upset about. You're aging. We all age, and you know what? There's still a spot for you. It's just a different spot. It's a good.
She's going to be an
good
ambassador.
Message. Ambassador. Yes. I like that.
Trinity does a lot of that too, so she'd be really, really good at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could see her working with the NXT girls and getting them trained, because who better to learn from?
From Natty and Sarah Del Rey and Natty.
Sarah Del Rey is phenomenal. Yeah.
I heard a lot of good things.
So Natty would fit right in.
I love it. Well, do you guys have anything you want to add about the episode in particular?
I thought this was a good episode. This was really entertaining. I liked the whole love story between Paige and Kevin. I'm glad it worked out for the better instead of ending in some dramatic fight, which sometimes we see on reality TV. Imagine that. And I liked the Nikki Brie. I love the Nikki Brie confrontation. Anytime there's like little sisterly, it reminds me of my sister, and I love it. I love it. I love it.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of annoyance from Nikki. It's like, oh, anything Brie can do, I can do better. And I would have been so heated. I would have yelled if Nikki was like, well, I'm the Divas champion,
I thought you didn't yell.
Well, that's how upset I would have been if she would have thrown that Divas champion thing in, because I'm sure it's going to segue away into the rumor mill of our.
Yes, George, that was lovely. Let's move into some news and gossip. Speaking of Nikki and John and what he may be doing for her behind the scenes, I read a little report today online that said that actually Charlotte Flair, who is an NXT diva who just recently came up in the ranks, was actually supposed to take Nikki's title very recently. And John Cena put the kibosh on that. With whoever behind the scenes he had to put the kibosh on it with.
Good thing this is a rumor, because I don't want to know if it's even true or not. So
that would disappoint you greatly.
Yeah, I would lose a little bit of respect from John Cena.
Well, speaking of a Bella man, Daniel Bryan, we saw last week on the episode, the fans now know that he's dealing with an injury, and it was questionable as to when he would be back. There was some news this week. All the stars were at SummerSlam, so they were giving interviews, and Daniel Bryan told one media outlet, he said that he has been cleared to wrestle by a guy who is the neurologist for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, like not a guy who works for the NFL. He clears players for the Super Bowl, and he said, Bryan Daniels, you're good to go. However, the WWE has not yet cleared him, and he says he has no idea when they will do that. He is, however, training as if he will be getting back into the ring soon.
I think a lot of it has to do with kind of some issues, like legal issues they're dealing with. I know there's a concussion lawsuit, so the last thing they would want to do is put a guy in the ring that has had a concussion, and even like the medical doctor that CM Punk, or that is suing CM Punk.
Oh,
so
yeah.
maybe something to do with that. I don't know. I just think that obviously I think they are they're for the best interest of Daniel Bryan, but also for the best interest of themselves as well.
Yeah, I think they're just dotting their I's and crossing their T's, and kind of making sure everything's good before they rush
There's
into
really
anything.
nothing wrong with being extra cautious.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll definitely see Daniel Bryan soon, and I sure hope so.
Well, it's news for the Total Divas fans because it means we get to see a lot of him on the show, and he actually added that when he isn't wrestling, he's a lot less annoyed with having the Total Divas cameras around.
That's
because he hasn't just
funny.
been traveling, and it's not his one day off, and so he's got more patience for the cameras since he isn't wrestling. A couple more little tidbits. You saw Alicia Fox on tonight's Tough Enough finale. If you missed that, you have to check it out. She put the two last female finalists through the paces and had a match with them. It was really, really cool. And one last little thing. These poor ladies, we're talking about girl power here. They got booed and commented, and they performed in front of a terrible crowd on Monday night at Raw in New York City. And Paige tweeted about it, and Brie Instagrammed and said that crowd can kiss my A. And she didn't say A, she actually said the word. And Nikki also said to the crowd, shame on you for being disrespectful. So that's just a little, our girls being girl powery, and I like to report on those stories too.
I wonder why that was. Why so much booing?
Well, the ladies got a very long segment actually on TV. They got a lot of time, and I think the crowd just got it.
Rumor
got
has
a
it
little
that Vince
long.
specifically called for a commercial break just so they can, so
break it up.
the home viewers don't have to see that. All that stuff.
That's
Yeah,
a shame, because
I was
I'm really
hearing
on
that
board
that's
for this
what his
Divas
opinion, too.
revolution, and these girls have proven themselves time and time again. The three new girls, Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky Lynch, are amazing. The girls we had are amazing, and they're putting on shows better than ever. So to boo about more TV time, it makes me upset. It makes me upset.
After this is what the fans wanted.
Right.
And it is what we want.
It is what we want. So I think they'll come around, just a matter of time.
I agree. It was just those darn New Yorkers. You East Coasters are a little harsh. I don't know if you know that.
We can be. We can be.
To a little Midwestern girl.
Let's get into predictions.
Okay.
Let's get into
said it.
predictions.
Your AFTERBUZZ
Oh, yeah,
TV
predictions.
predictions.
We saw some juicy stuff on the next time on. Paige is going to get in the ring with Ariane, which I don't need to see a lot of her, so my prediction is I'm going to be annoyed with Ariane. And I love, Big E. We're going to see some Big E.
And Jenny.
And Jenny. And I feel like my prediction is that Big E is going to be very smooth. I feel like he's going to know how to lay it down and romance a lady. Yeah.
Yeah, I see Jenny falling for Big E. I could see it happening. Like you said, he's got that swagger. And I'm excited to see Paige looks like she gets scolded
By Road Dogg.
by Road Dogg after training with Ariane. So I'm very, very interested to see why. Does she go a little rough on her? Is she a little annoyed? We'll see.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I thought you wanted the predictions. You didn't give any predictions.
No, I was leading it for you guys. But
He's just a segueer
I
this
got
evening.
excited. I mean, them hearts, they fall for wrestlers. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes with Jenny and Big E.
We'll see.
Love it. All right. Well, we will be tweeting and talking about it, and we want to know what you guys think too. Please tweet me at Christy Reports, and you can follow me on Instagram at Christy Reports. You know, ChristyReports.com has all kinds of juicy stuff for you, and subscribe to my channel at Christy Reports just because it makes me happy, and I love you. So thank you.
I love you
Where can
too.
they find you? Aw.
You can find me at Tough Daria on all of your social media. Follow my journey to the WWE.
And I hope maybe I'll have a journey to WWE someday soon.
Yeah.
But I have 326 Twitter followers. The hashtag road to 400 followers continues.
Woo.
G Hermoza.
Let's get G Hermoza there.
Well, we will be back next week with an update on that and to chat a little bit more Total Divas. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Follow the whole AfterBuzz TV team on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.